Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw the link that you sent me, the YouTube tutorials. I think that helped me to get the Garmin Connect connected, but yeah. And then I noticed that the site, it had a download for PC and Mac. I guess, is that when you don't have internet access and you're just using a USB dongle thing? Is that correct?
Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so if you, I guess somewhere on that website, maybe you're on it right now. You know how the mobile app.
Yep.
I guess somewhere on that website, you can download for your desktop for Windows or Mac. And
okay,
and then,
yeah,
and then
I know what you're talking about.
It asks for a dongle. So I guess if
So
you
there's
don't have, yeah.
So there's two things. Before we had the sensor, there was basically the one-piece plastic heart rate strap.
Okay.
And that required an antenna, a receiver that would plug into a PC or a Mac, like a laptop. And that receiver with the antenna then picks up the heart rate belts within the 200-meter radius. We've advanced to the sensor, which is what you have on, the little piece that clips on and off, to where you don't need the antenna anymore. And so it all transmits via Bluetooth.
Okay.
So what's called the sports monitor is the one that needs the antenna and the plastic heart rate belt. With the sensor, you don't need that anymore.
I see. So that's an older software, I guess.
Well, the software is essentially the software is essentially the same. The hardware is different in the sense that the sensor is different than the plastic heart rate belt.
Okay. And this thing turns on automatically, is that right?
Yeah. The sensor automatically turns on, and then it power saves after a couple of minutes. Means it doesn't transmit or isn't transmitting, or if it is, it's transmitting very, very low frequency Bluetooth. If the red light flashing, then it's projecting the Bluetooth to whatever device you're using. So if you're using the app on the phone or an iPad, that's when it will start picking it up.
What's the range?
About 50 meters.
Okay.
About 50 meters. So yeah, I was gonna show you this YouTube tutorial, but this is the link here. So when you're in this is the dashboard here. And then when you're up on the upper left is menu, team management. Like you said, you can create yourself as an athlete. So this is where I'm going to click on, I've created myself as an athlete. And you click on this little blue edit. Okay. This is the delete button. And then this is when you got it and you set it up, you can add a profile pic, your name, male, female, your height. This is where you'd want to set your max heart rate as well.
Okay.
And if you don't know it, it's okay if you want to do an arbitrary number. But it's helpful to know it if you're doing some sort of testing and you actually get the accurate number there. The activity class is important. So depending upon, obviously this is mainly geared toward selling to a sports team. So if you look at team sports with an activity class that lower aerobic demands, high aerobic demands, that's an important distinguish to put in there. So I have 6 for myself where I'm an active individual, exercise 4 to 5 times a week, but I'm not participating competitively.
Okay.
And then the resting heart rate is calculated and updated automatically once it starts getting enough, data points. Same with the VO2. So this is where here the belt ID is for the older plastic belts with the new sense called the sports monitor. With the new sensor, you don't have to put in that long sensor on the back. It's like usually like a 191000 something. You don't have to put anything in here. And then this is the Garmin Connect. So you've done this process, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that's where it gets connected automatically. You can send training reports automatically or not, and stress and recover or not. So if you want the athletes you're working with or the folks you're working with to have them automatically, you can have them get them, or you can send them to yourself. And then the heart rate zones, they come as a default, and you can adjust this manually by just clicking on this circle and dragging it based upon what you know to be true about that particular athlete or person you're working with. Okay. So that, because I'm already set up, I don't have the entire setup wizard, which you've already gone through, but that's the process of adding the Garmin Connect. And so then once this is obviously linked up, you would get an email, says, do you want to share your data with Firsbeat? You say yes, and go forward from there.
So this is helpful when you don't have the sensor on, but you're able to upload whatever data you collected via the watch to the Firsbeat dashboard. Is that correct?
So this is the software for Firsbeat. And you want to leave without saving changes. Yes, I want to leave without saving changes. So let me come back here to the dashboard. So the way this process works, and it takes a little bit to get used to. There's what I found to be a couple of different angles. When you have that Garmin Connect set up, and you're wearing a chest strap, you need to go onto the watch to connect the sensor to the watch.
Okay.
So your watch will have a particular process of wherever to find it. So like for me, on this watch I have, the Garmin watch I have, let's see if I can show it to you. I have to press the up button, and then I go to sensors. I scroll down and I find sensors and accessories.
Yeah. Okay.
And then from there, it will either say add new, or it will already be searching for the heart rate, the external heart rate device. It'll be searching for it.
I'm trying to do that right now with myself.
Okay.
Okay, I can't find it right now myself.
Okay.
But okay.
Well, once you find that, then it will pair. So it will send a transmit. And then when you start exercising, the data you'll see on the watch, depending upon the view you're in on your watch, you'll see the data.
Now,
go ahead.
I was going to say, so let's just say I can't find it, or I just, for whatever reason, I don't wear my sensor.
Mm-hmm.
Can what I have recording via my wrist, can that then sync up with this Firsbeat dashboard here? then?
Yeah. So on my phone, you'll see the Garmin Connect app. You have the Garmin Connect app.
Right. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So once you have the Garmin Connect app, you'll pair the app with the watch.
So you have to connect the app with the watch. Oh,
Yes,
no.
and it in the little more button down on the bottom right, it'll have a settings on it or Garmin devices. And if you click on Garmin devices, it will find the watch and you should be able to sync.
Right. And so that will automatically upload to Firsbeat as well.
Yeah, so the way it works is that if you're wearing the sensor and you train and you're using the sensor in the watch data will actually be what's on the sensor. You save the session on your watch, and then that will upload to the app.
Uh-huh.
Then this app data goes right into the cloud that you're looking at in front of you.
Can that also be done if you're not wearing the sensor though too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So it's the same process in the sense that the sensor, if you don't have the sensor, you just have the watch, you connect with the app, and these two will pair itself. The watch and the app will pair itself every time there's a signal.
Okay.
And then that data will sync. And as soon as, literally within seconds after it syncs, it's in the cloud.
Okay. The sensor's ECG accurate though.
The sensor is, it's wearing a chest strap. It's got the electrodes on it. It's going off of RR intervals. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so we know wrist devices, even the watch, is going to have some inaccuracy. Right. That's any system. So the data then shows up in this dashboard, and I'll move us down here. And within the dashboard, you can, because I'm an individual user, but if this was a team, we would click on the team here, and anybody that was a team member that trained that day or used the watch, all would show up on the bottom. So you could see myself and Nigel on the bottom. You could see, so like if there was a local station and you were working with 10 firefighters and they were all syncing, they would have all of their data there below. It also generates a team report as well as individual reports. So you could have station 1, station 2, station 3, etc.
Now you're using the web version of this. Is this pretty much the same when you're using the app?
So if you're using the app, the live app, there's a live view of the app.
Uh-huh.
Meaning you're only going to see 3 metrics at a time on the live view. Do you have the app downloaded?
I do, and I'm trying to go through it on my phone too. Right.
Okay.
So I guess the app is an abbreviated view of this. Is that correct?
Yes. So the idea behind the app was the response out of COVID, the idea that there's mobile coaching. And so a coach could be on the field training athletes and look at real-time data. So they wouldn't see the dashboard in real-time view. This is post-training analysis. This is post-exercise analysis.
Okay.
The live app, or the app in a live view, you can see one or all your athletes. And you can do that via the iPad, the iPhone, Or if you were using the plastic belts with the antenna, you could also see it on a laptop.
Okay. Okay.
So within the live view, you can choose up to 3 metrics that you'd want to look at. Trimp, heart rate, percent of heart rate max. I think there's currently 15 different variables to choose from, and you can choose 3 to view at any one time. I'm just double checking that right now. Heart rate max, average heart rate, minimum heart rate, peak heart rate, time and zones, calories, epoch, trimp per minute, trimp, movement load, movement intensity. Yeah.
The dashboard here is basically a ACWR.
Primarily.
Okay.
So up on the top, let me move this back up here. On the left, the menu, there's dashboard, team management, and data export. Give you an example, I'm talking to a Major League Baseball team right now. They want to export their data because they do a lot of passive data collection for analysis. I mean, it's just baseball. So to be able to export the data, they can manipulate the graphs however they want in an Excel file. And within the data export, you can choose a ton of metrics. So if I show you that just briefly, if you wanted to exercise, stress recovery, or quick recovery, here we go. So you can choose all the days. I want to choose exercise. I'll just see the exercise. If I just want to see the quick recovery, I'll do the quick recovery, and I'll talk about that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So you can choose one or all, or you have to kind of play around with what you want to see. So if I want to see all the running activities, I'll just see the running activities. So there's a way to navigate and filter through what you want to see. You can also choose different variables that you'd want to see within this. So if I go to export to an Excel file and click on advanced settings, then I have all these different metrics. If I want to choose the measurement error, the artifact percentage, and then all these different metrics I can choose, make my screen a little bit bigger.
So the sensor's capturing all these data points.
Yes.
And then we can kind of filter out what we want.
Correct.
Okay.
Calories, ACWR, quick recovery, overnight recovery, HRV parameters. I know you're big on that.
Yeah. So we're looking at, the physiology here. Now, I guess does this also, I guess, capture some metrics? Correct?
Say that again, Corey. You cut out.
Or no?
Say that again.
Does this also capture some? Does this also capture some movement metrics as well?
Yeah. And I can show you kind of the algorithm that we use for that. So it captures what we're calling movement load and movement intensity. And I'll show you kind of what the metrics are for that. It's basically using the accelerometer and the sensor to capture all movement. So it's not broken out by zone. It's not zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, if you're familiar with the various acceleration zones. But it's the sum of the accelerations on the XYZ axis.
So
let me show you.
Is it essentially capturing wattage power? Is it wattage and power that's basically being captured?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay.
The way I brought up the Bodyguard because I know you'd be interested in that on the specs on it.
Bodyguard has to do with recovery. Is that correct?
Yeah, the Bodyguard is like Omega Wave HRV.
Okay. Now, when I'm using my Garmin, does it matter as far as when I start to record, if it's walking, if it's running, if it's hiking? Does it matter? Do you guys pick up whatever activity it is?
It will
And
pick up whatever activity.
And strength training too?
Yep.
Okay.
So I know like on the Garmin watch I use, it has the capability, like I can choose the function I'm doing. So if it's a run, a walk, a hike, strength, it can actually do reps and sets on the watch, things of that nature. I know for like 2 weeks ago, I went on a hike, but I also wanted to run part of it. I just listed it as a walk, but it's still going to capture if I'm running 7-minute miles or, it's still going to capture the GPS in it.
Okay.
So it's a 3-dimensional accelerometer, and it's basically just an overall quantification. And the idea is that within the individual graph, you can see, I'm zooming in a little bit here, and I can show you on my dashboard what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea is that you can see when there's greater intensity of movements through the accelerometer. So the idea is that you can look at it over time. It's accumulating, similar to TRIMP, in that if you use movement load per minute, it will give you the density times intensity of whatever activity you're going through. So from a team sport perspective, you can start to compare, like in soccer, for example, if they're going to do 4 rounds of 4v4 training, you could look at each 4v4 activity and compare them to see if the intensity was the similar or not, if there was a drop off or not. So that's the way to look at some of the movement load. And then you can compare, obviously within you build your own graphs, and you can look at heart rate relative to movement.
So in some ways, we can kind of get a little bit of a sense as far as the orthopedic cost that they're undergoing.
Yeah, you cut out there for a second, but if I heard you correctly, it's the orthopedic, like, okay, I know that this level is really high intense. This is going to be the heavier load on the joints relative to something that's not. Is that what I heard?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Okay.
So I don't know if there's, yeah, that's that. The
with this type of cap, was that James?
I'm sorry, you cut out there.
So James, sorry, yeah, we cut out. So with the load data capturing, we need the sensor due to the accelerometer within it. Is that correct?
Correct. You will not get movement load through the Garmin watch. That is correct. Yep. So if we go to here's this little gearbox, and you can choose what you want to see on the X and Y, Z, on the X axis. the y-axis. You can choose the different metrics you'd like to see. So if you want to see just the movement load relative to average heart rate percent max on line 2, I'll click off of it. The computer will think and it will show you what you want to see. So the purples for me are the movement load days when I had a sensor on and I was doing something involving movement. So this was my hike that I said, right? I went on this hike. It gives me the overall training effect, the ACWR, and the ACWR, like we talked about, is 7 to 28. But it's only gonna, as we know, it's only gonna work when you're using the watch or the sensor. So you know, if there's a right in our world, right, where there's training, it's like, well, I didn't track it, I didn't have a watch or a sensor on it. It still counts, but it's not going to show up obviously as part of the equation and the algorithm on the back end. So then I can come down to the individual graph here. And within the individual graph, I can see, okay, I started at 6:30 in the morning. These are laps. So if you think about the origination of this company, it's in Finland. It came out of a lab. So most of it's based upon running around a lap from track and field. So they call them laps. The idea is that in this lap was 1 mile. So each lap is a mile. It shows me just this one lap. And I can edit the lap for how long it went. I can choose a lap name if I want to call it something like mile 1. Save and save. It'll be thinking. And then I'll have mile 1 down here at the bottom. And so each lap is broken out based upon how you organize your laps. So you can be really specific about the distance covered or how long it took. And if you go back into the graph and you're like, okay, I'm not really interested in anything but kind of anaerobic threshold, you can click on these and take them all off. Now I just want to see the movement intensity relative to when they're in zone 4. And if I highlight over it, if I highlight over that, and then I can then even zoom in even more. And I can see the bigger spikes.
Is the lap essentially a mile?
Essentially, yes. Yeah, so like if you go for a run, you go for a 3-mile run, it will be 3 laps.
Okay.
We are working on creating the ability to do manual input. That's one of the potential roadmaps for next year, is to say, okay, I had 6 laps. You can label the lap, but then you can also say, like, I ran 3 miles, I walked 2, walked 1. So if you just want to see, so the dashboard ideally is interactive so that you can choose to see what metric you're interested in. And a lot of people are interested in the high intensity training relative to trimp and movement load. Like, okay, how much did I spend in 90% of my heart rate?
So this dashboard allows us to review training, monitor it and help us to plan. Whereas the live app has kind of gives us an idea as far as, I guess, are we working within the plan?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Good.
And this will pull in data from all athletes or users within a team, right? So if you're the head coach and you have a team, let's call it station 5 and station 6, you could look at station 5 as a team or station 6 as a team, or both of them as a team, depending upon how we set things up in the dashboard. So then you could look at all members of the team down here at the bottom. You could see everybody relative to the training stimulus. This little graph gives you the session details, the percent time and zones. I can also say, okay, well, I just really want a quick number. What was my average movement intensity? What was my, did I have a VO2 max? No, because I wasn't running. But I have a trim. So you can choose to look at different things in here. The report is generated automatically. It's also available at the bottom. And then the training report comes up and it looks something like this. And so on the bottom is that ACWR with 7 days using trim. So it gives us a nice indication. Okay, maybe I drop down here Tuesday, Thursday, kind of deloaded a little bit. Okay, I start to ramp it back up gradually. Oh, then I had a few days off. And then I went back up again.
Are you showing the report right now? The PDF? Is that what you did? Or no?
Yeah. Did that not? It didn't show up, did it?
No. Unless it showed up on your, I don't see it on my end.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I just noticed in Zoom when I brought it up, it said pause share. It said resume share. So it means it paused when I brought up a PDF.
Interesting.
Because it's outside of Zoom, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah. I'll email you a report so you can see it.
Okay.
So this is the dashboard, and like I said, you can choose a lot of different metrics to look at in here.
Is there any possibility that maybe you could log into mine to see if, because I haven't been using the sensor as of yet, to see if the Garmin is uploading and syncing?
It should. If you give me the credentials, I will. Once it's all set up, it will bring in any data that's been used in the past.
Okay. Because when I was playing around with it over the weekend, I just wasn't able to see this, for instance. Yeah, it's all uppercase, one word, upright movement. And then underneath, it's all one word, lowercase, upright movement. I haven't been in contact with Josh, so that means he's pretty much tied up and busy.
Okay. All right. No problem. So send group reports automatically after the real-time session.
Okay. So that.
Click that. All right. Save. Imperial units. This is the standard default. You can go in and change these as you go if you feel like you need to. Otherwise, we can keep them as is.
Okay.
We're going to save that. Next is, do you want a team name?
Yeah, let's do uppercase, one word up, or like, yeah, uppercase, one word, upright movement. So I guess I didn't do this like I thought I did. Okay. I thought I did create a team, but maybe I didn't. So I created that.
Yeah. Team name, up, right, So that's just saying you can do
So I hadn't created a team then. Is that right? I guess based off
correct.
what you're going over.
Yeah.
Okay. So I entered myself, but I didn't quite enter as a team either.
Right. And this is where like you can be the coach. This is adding a new coach. So if you work with somebody else or somebody else is part of Upright Movement, you want another coach to have access to the team, if you will, you can do that.
So as the team, as the coach, as the athlete, do I still have to enter myself, I guess, as a coach, or no?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay.
It's going to recognize you as an athlete. So I guess what I would say is you're the athlete in the team. The moment you add a second athlete, then you can add yourself as a coach.
Okay.
All right. So now this is the team.
Uh-huh. Coach management.
So I mean, the coach would be the same as the athlete, which is not normally the case, right? So it's, I think it's once you get another athlete in there. But that's the team name there. So we need to add the athlete management. So we go team management on the left. So it says with API connections, we'll click athlete management, Corey. You have the API connection. You've got the cloud and app access, which has been enabled. You've sent that credentials. And that's it.
So I guess you can have groups within teams. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. So I guess I had just myself, athlete, created, not so much a team. So you have to have the team and athlete. You have to have both. Is that correct? In order to pull this up.
Yeah. So I'll give you, in order to see the dashboard, you can see it as an athlete. You have your own athlete login. As the coach, you may want to create just a different login as the coach. Otherwise, you're going to see just your athlete profile. So this is what we see within the cloud. And it won't have movement intensity because you didn't have the sensor, but it does look like you did some work on Sunday. Training effect 2.1, 632 calories, 85 trim.
Right.
If we wanted to look up here and say, okay, let's go to training effect as the main axis there, and then we wanted to look at average percent heart rate, and then if we wanted to add acute training load, that's what you did on Sunday. And we can go back through. So these are all the days that looks like you got your watch or started activating your watch then.
Oh, so we can pull up previous activities.
Yeah, so my cursor's over Thursday, October 1 right now. And if I click on that,
yeah, that's about the time
it looks like that. Because the session wasn't created Let's see. Here we go. Let's see if we get this one.
So what did you just do to because first we just saw Sunday's training, but now you were able to pull up all my training so far that I've had on the Garmin. What did you do to do that?
I don't think I did anything. I just made sure that everything was in there. Like I just made sure that you as an athlete were in there.
I see.
I mean, I was highlighting the cursor. The gray bar is over Sunday the 18th. I clicked on it and I just saw Sundays. Training load, training effect. And then this little PDF is the report, which you should get automatically.
Right. And now the bottom circles, training effect and training load, is that the summary or is that date specific?
The training effect is date specific. The training load, acute over chronic, is the 7 to 28 rolling.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah. And then
so if we were to go back, like if we were to click on Friday the 9th, you'll see the training load change.
Right. So you guys do rolling rather than what's that other one? Accumulated something. I forget. There's two versions of the ACWR.
Yeah, I can send you the data that we use on the ACWR so that you can see the difference.
Uh-huh. And then when at what point do we start to see the quick recovery to the right?
When you do it. And so that's it's a it's a 3-minute test in the morning. So similar to a mega wave where you would wear it overnight and it would give you the overnight sleep data. The quick recovery test, you wake up, you put on the sensor, you connect to the live app, and there's a little, on the live app, there's like a little heart in there.
Okay.
And you click on that, and for 3 minutes, you lie down or sit up, and it will measure your heart rate. I have to open up the garage for somebody. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Apologies for that.
No, thank you, sir. So the quick recovery is basically the morning heart rate variability reading. Is that correct?
Yes. How well did you recover from yesterday's load?
Okay.
When you do it, you'll see.
Since so this would be athlete specific. You know, the athlete would do this with their app, with their sensor in the morning. Okay. Now, as far as the training load, I guess it's color coded. So I guess I'm in the yellow versus red or green.
There's four different kind of colors and zones based upon where you are. And it goes off for Gabbitt's work, 1.5. Whether you believe it or not, that's kind of what it's based off of. So the closer it is to 1.3, 4, 5, then it will be green, yellow, and then red. If you haven't had enough days of doing it, so if it's been more than 7 days since you do it, the first time you do it, it will probably be all green because it will look like it's excellent. But if you do it multiple times within a week, which is the design of it, that in a team atmosphere, you're having them do it, on a daily basis or 4 times out of a week, then you really can get that score kind of to be more accurate based upon the number of times.
Okay.
You can also, down here at the bottom, you can look at things differently. And then when you have more athletes, you can sort using these little arrows.
Mm-hmm.
So you can create some sort of ranking profile if you wanted to.
Yeah, that would be good.
What other questions do you have on the dashboard? I mean, it took me it took me a few minutes, go in and playing with it and seeing what I wanted to look up here. And
yeah, I think it's just a matter of time and just playing around and getting familiar with it.
Yep. Yep.
Because things we could tweak and really dive into if we wanted to, and so yeah, this it kind of has a look and a feel. I mean, right now with you going over this with me, that it's kind of I don't know, user friendly. You kind of, it's self-guided, self-learning, kind of like a Mac device, just exposure and time.
Yeah, it was really, once you get the Garmin synced down, we're working on trying to work with Garmin to get the Garmin sleep data integrated into here. I know that's a laundry list of things that we're asking Garmin to do for us, but that would be massive. So what I might do now, Corey, is bring up the bodyguard information.
I just completed that quick recovery thing on the app. It says initial score saved. I guess eventually it'll show up on the web page here, dashboard. Is that right?
Let me refresh my browser.
And on that app, magic, maybe, I don't know.
Did you, okay, so when you finish the live app in the QRT, where is it at on the app right now? Is it all done?
It was done, but I don't know. Did I have to hit save or something?
Not for the QRT.
Huh.
Sometimes though, what I found is that when there's multiple Bluetooth signals, it's going to go to the strongest signal, so that when you do the QRT test, don't have your Garmin watch near. Just have the sensor on and the live.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it doesn't like multiple Bluetooth devices, right? So the sensor is going to go to the strongest Bluetooth wavelength. So sometimes we found like
okay.
Sometimes at like stadiums, you have multiple signals coming down and in, and it's really difficult sometimes to have that because of the multiple signals going on.
Okay, so I just turned my watch off, and then I'm just gonna run it again and see how.
Okay, we'll come back to the dashboard and see how it shows up.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, so it should show up. We just want to make sure the settings on the phone are such that the Bluetooth is connected to the sensor. So if you've done that in your settings, right? On the phone.
I believe so, and I have the sensor on, and it's showing me a live snapshot of this recovery reading, and it shows my heart rate right now.
What is it?
It shows my 50. Yeah, it shows. Can you see that? Can you see that? I don't know.
No, but let's see here. I'll get the.
I'm just running another reading right now. If you can.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. Start all. Yeah. So it should be going.
Oh, so you. Okay.
You press start, like you'll see a 3-minute and the timer's counting down.
Yep, it's counting down.
Okay.
All right.
So this is the sensor and some of the technical specs with it.
How long's the battery good for on these sensors typically?
Right there, it's about 160 hours. And it's just a CR 2025 that you can buy at, Walgreens, CVS.
Yeah.
For $4 or $5. Walmart for $3.
Uh-huh.
So there is a gyroscope in it, which means it can collect GPS data like distance, speed, etc., but it drains the battery life really fast because of how small it is.
I bet.
So it's got some of the tech specs there. The RR recording accuracy is under 2 milliseconds. It's water resistant, but not waterproof.
It's not waterproof.
No, it's not waterproof. And Garmin makes a waterproof strap. Our strap is water resistant, but it's not waterproof. Like I've done it in the rain and it's fine, but I wouldn't do it in the rain for, 6 straight days. That's the old belt. That's the receiver. And then this is the bodyguard. So it connects on the upper chest above the right pec and then below the left pec.
Okay.
And here are the technical specs of it. I did it several weeks ago myself just to kind of see, and I wore it for 3 days because I kind of wanted 3 days worth of data, but most people would do 24 hours. But I did it for 3. Yeah, I wore it for 3 days. Hours? Yeah.
Oh wow.
I just took it off and took the electrodes off when I took a shower and then put new electrodes on. So, being off for a little bit wasn't too imperative, and it didn't bother me at all. The cord's a little bit long, and we're actually working on a shorter cord so that it doesn't dangle. And I just taped the cord to my chest. So you can do about 3 weeks worth of data in there. And then if you look at my cursor right here, this circle part unhooks from this little coupling, and this is a USB right here.
Okay. So
this USB goes into the drive of the laptop. And then if we go back to the cloud, this little arrow here is upload from Bodyguard. So you just do the USB in there and you get the data.
So you would plug in that device USB into your computer?
Yes. And then just it uploads the data, and then I get a stress and training analysis report right in the dashboard. Did they finish or no?
Would that? Yeah, it did. On the
on the
Yeah.
QRT. You may just need to close the app. I've never had an issue. Once I do the QRT, it usually syncs fairly fast. So maybe we can check afterwards, like after the call, you can kind of go back in and see if it's synced or not.
So will it have a history of my quick recovery?
Yes, it
App?
should. So the sensor stores all the data. If you've used the live app, on the lower part of the in the app, it's tough to show without actually seeing the live screen on this dashboard. But in the app itself, when you download, it will read, or if you hit the sync button, which is like the little circles,
Yeah,
it will say 2, 3, 4, 5 measurements waiting to be uploaded, because it stores all the data. The sensor stores all the data.
Do you have to delete some readings after some time from the sensor?
No. What did someone tell me the other day? Yeah, like 3 years.
Oh. So there's quite a bit of okay, so
yeah.
It looks like according to the App Store, I need to update to a latest version.
That just came out yesterday.
Okay. So I'm just gonna do it right now.
Yep. If you take the sensor off, the sensor stops recording, because as you have it on, it's probably still recording.
Oh, okay.
That's just one. Yeah. We just uploaded the ability within the live app to do session management, which means you can edit the start and end time within the app.
Okay.
Yeah. What other questions do you have at this time?
Right now, I think well, as far as that bodyguard that you showed me, that would just require someone to be wearing it pretty much consistently for a number of hours, if not days, basically. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah, and we recommend 24 hours so you get, kind of the full picture. You get sleep in there as well. And I'm happy to send on a kind
I
of
imagine in my population. What's that, sir? Go ahead.
No, I was just saying I'm happy to send on what one of those training, like what a stress and analysis report looks like to you as well.
Okay, that'd be great. That'd be great.
And you said your population?
I think it would be kind of a tough one for them to undergo. But I imagine the idea behind it is to get as much and big picture accuracy. That right. I mean, that would be the only way, is to have it by using that.
Correct. That would be the idea. Okay. We can also, we're trying to integrate, you can get it on the Garmin Connect and the Garmin app, which is nice. So the individual user can look at it on their phone and say, oh, wow, I can look at my sleep trends. I can look at all the different various trends that I have within the app, but it would not be in the dashboard. We're working on trying to get the Garmin Sleep, which would be big if we could integrate that.
So so the idea with that is that maybe you can get something close to the bodyguard without having to wear the sensor, because you're able to track the sleep Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. We've talked about that on the back end. I think right now what we're trying to do is just figure out a way to be like, get people to be able to buy a garment at a discount and or use our current database of users to then be able to get the next user. So like if you go out to your friends and say, look, this is a great product, basically if you go and sell, an X amount of sensors, or you convince somebody to come on board, like you go to somebody else and say, yeah, hey, Firsbeat's great, I love it, I want to use it. Then after X amount, we send you a free watch. We're trying to work with Garmin to do things like that. But Garmin's also trying to protect their bottom line. So
yeah. No, I think
go ahead.
I think I told you I feel that the best one for my population would be this dashboard along with the Garmin 6 Pro.
Okay. Yeah, I know you said you bought a tactical watch, right? Is that what that is?
Yeah,
the Garmin 6 Pro.
Yeah. So what I have is the Tactic Delta, which is because my population, I feel it's like the best thing that would work for them is if they just can put it on, and what is it? Get it and forget it.
Yep.
But it'll be always measuring.
Yeah. Do you need to see the dashboard anymore?
I think I'm good for now. I think I just need to, play around with it.
Okay. I'm going to just show you that I'm logging out and I'm not going to log in, and I wouldn't log into your credentials or access anything like that. I don't even have your admin credentials. So I have to go to Finland. So if there's something that needed to be changed on the back end, I go to Finland, and there's only a couple of people there that have access to all the data. Just so you know.
Okay. So I guess I'll go to my dashboard later on today, and I should see that quick recovery thing.
You should, and unless we've missed something, which I don't think we did, but I will double check. And if you do, just you can. This is myself. You can call me, text me, email me, and I'll get you figured out.
Okay.
There shouldn't have been any issues. I got to go into me here. I'm trying to.
It's interesting. So I just pulled up sensor downloads. I pressed on my name, and then you see those 3 horizontal bars to the right. And then when I click on it, it gives me dates, and then it has dates of December 31st of 2014.
No.
And then it has the date of the following date is January 4th of 2015.
If you can take a little picture of that.
Okay.
Yeah, take a little picture of your screen and email that to me.
Okay.
I will send it on to our support team.
Okay. Yeah, it says loaded measurements from sensor, blah, blah, blah.
Whatever number you have, yeah. There's a chance that those demo sensors were used at that time, or were manufactured at that time.
Okay, so those might not actually be the readings from
myself. They're not. They're not. They're obviously from. But our demo sensors are brand new sensors.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The only thing I can think of is that it was when they were manufactured.
Okay. Okay.
I brought my screen back up, Corey, just so you can see the quick recovery. So, like the way it comes up is, this is Monday the 19th. These are the variables and things that I did. I click on quick recovery So Monday, session 1, run, quick recovery. Now I can see my heart rate along the 3-minute continuum.
And it looks like you've been scoring green all the time.
It only scores green. Well, this is just the recovery zone, but down on the bottom where it reads 100% excellent is because I hadn't done it in probably 2 weeks. So it's only going to look at the next, this 7-day rolling setup.
Okay.
So it has the minimum heart rate. I could also click on average respiration rate, which is a little high for me normally. And then it has the RMSSD, which is 67. I'm shooting to try and get over 100, but I don't know that I'm gonna, at my age, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get there. I think I got like 81 once, and I was taking that because I got my heart rate down to 37, and average respiration was like 9. That was about as good as I'm gonna get, I think.
No, and there's a lot of variables and genetics involved as far as that RMSSD goes. The milliseconds.
Yeah. So once you do it a couple of times, it's like anything, like you said, it's kind of user intuitive. You'll start to figure out what makes sense for you and how it goes. And, I can help navigate along the way as you get more athletes on board, if you will. And then we have support that's able to help on technical issues as well.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay.
Unless you have anything else, what's the overnight recovery? I saw that this just a second ago on your dashboard.
Yeah, the overnight recovery would be like if I were to wear it all night long, track and recording it, or with the bodyguard.
So if you had this chest sensor wearing it all night long.
Yeah, I haven't done that one yet.
Okay.
I haven't done that one yet, but I'd be curious.
Okay. Sounds good. You said you have a recording of this, and then you'll be sending me some other things as well.
Yep, I've got what I wrote down is the background information on the ACWR, a training report, a stress and analysis report, and then the recording of this.
Okay. And then
you have all the YouTube links as well, correct?
Right, you sent it in the email.
Okay.
The like tutorial, like I don't know, like 2-minute clip, 2-minute clips or something like that.
Yep.
So I guess I'll just kind of play around with it, and then if I have any questions from that, just get a hold of you. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And like I said, Josh is, tied up somewhere. So hopefully at some point, and I feel it's gonna depend on having some consistent heavy rains for a couple of days at least, and then things will kind of wind down. But I think they said something. I heard this via NOAA that supposedly we're going to have a warmer than or much of the United States is going to have a warmer than usual winter. So that's probably going to be less snow, maybe even less rain. And so we'll see.
NOAA's in our backyard here in Boulder, so go knock on their door.
Aren't you guys having some big fires in that area?
There are one big fire. There was a third fire, I guess, on the western slope by Grand Junction, but there's one. It's just west of Fort Collins, which is in the northern part of the state. It's called the Cameron Peak Fire. It's the largest one in the state. And then there was one that's picked up on Saturday, kind of out of nowhere, literally 10 minutes north of Boulder. It's a small one. It's being contained, I think, mainly. But it was moving toward the city of Boulder.
How is the smoke in your area now then?
It was bad Saturday. We were actually in North Boulder on Saturday, and we came out and it looked like Armageddon. I mean, it looked brutal.
Yeah.
And the smoke has been bad across the state for several weeks now because of the Cameron fire up north. I mean, I go onto I think it's fire.now or some website like that where you can see the smoke trajectory to predict the air quality because of the training out with the guys. And we have guys that are asthmatic, so we, make sure that they have their inhalers and stuff. So yeah, I mean, some days are brutal here where we'll get ash that falls on our backyard. And then there's some days where it clears up.
Yeah. So you guys need rain too.
We do.
Get it over with.
Exactly. So, well, let's just stay in touch and keep me posted on things, and we'll take it from there.
Okay. Thank you very much, James. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon.
Okay, Corey. Take care. You too.
Yeah,
Bye.
Bye-bye.